Well, hello everyone. How are you today? It's Sharon here with another fun project, DIY Live. I'm here with Essential Stencil on their page. And you can follow me. I'm Sharon Hankins from the blog I Restore Stuff. So if you look up I Restore Stuff anywhere on social media, at I Restore Stuff is where you need to go. And you can find my blog at irestorestuff.com, where I tell you how to paint your own furniture, upcycle your home decor, using some beautiful paints and colours. So that's me, and let's get into our live today. And I can't see comments yet until I come over here to my laptop and view that for real. So I'm just going to open that up here. Oh, and I forgot to put my apron on today as I look at myself on the live here. I am demoing sets from the new Everyday Home Bundle today. So hello Danelle, Gloria's here, Meninda's here, hello, how are you? If you are brand new to Essential Stencil Lives, let us know in the comments. If you are not new and you've been here a while and you want to tell someone else that we are live right now, just hit that little share button and you can sprinkle the love out there in Facebook land. Let everybody know that we are doing a demo. Now, I've got my coffee cup here. So I'm drinking my coffee a little late this morning. It's morning here in Australia. It is Thursday morning, and I know right now it's Wednesday night live time, but it is my morning coffee time right now. And I do love blue and white. Speaking of blue and white, did you see the new transfers that have come out this week from Essential Stencil? So we've got, I'm loving the blue and white patterns. This is something from a shop that I saw, but I got it here in Australia. But when we were in Italy, there were some beautiful shops in Rome that had these beautiful blue and white patterned dishware. So, oh, you already did. Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you. Hi, Cindy. Hello, Tammy. Hello, everyone. So this is the beautiful chinoiserie. Is that how you say it? I feel like that's a French word. Chinoiserie vase and flowers 2-sheet decor transfer sheet. So there are 2 sheets in here. I'm going to open that up right now because it is just so beautiful. I didn't open it up last week. Oh, where's our the little tabs gone? So let's have a look. Good morning, Elizabeth said. She knows that it's morning here in Australia. The sun is shining brightly on it's quite a warm, wintry morning. It was a little cold last night. We had the heat on, but it's off now, and in fact the sun is shining brightly outside. My husband's sitting out there having his breakfast and coffee, and Olive is out there in the sun with him too. So all right, so here are some beautiful vases, gorgeous long ones, and of course you can use those in a variety of ways. Just by themselves they look great, but also you can pop the little flowers out the top and use them as an actual vase. So there are 2 sheets of those. Aren't they just adorable? I love them. So I can't wait to use some of those. And listen, I just want to use everything in today's bundle. So I'm showing you the whole bundle just really quickly. I know I showed it last week. It is live to purchase now, and they're ready to ship right now. So you can order that using my code, I Restore Stuff, using the link that's right there in the description of the live. It's also in the pinned comment that will be up the top there. When Essential Stencil posts that or pins that up to the top. I'm not sure if you can see that at the top just yet, but it's right there. Eleanor, you just ordered the transfers. Yes, the transfers are single use, and so, you know, once you've rubbed it on, that's it. So if you grab a few sets, that's probably well worth it if you think you'll use those a few times. So let's go through some of the stencils that are in the bundle. Now, if you do get the bundle, it's something like 25% off all of those stencils. If you were to buy them singly, you know, but putting them together as a bundle, they've discounted that for you. I will let you know that there are only about 30 bundles left as such. And the other important thing you need to know, that there are one of the sets they have just sold out on. Oh, and why is it missing? I will show you. It's the words, the little words. So the group of inspirational words, 20 pieces. If you wanted to buy that singly, they've sold out. The only way you can get the words is together with the entire bundle. So they've got 30 bundles left. They are really excellent value. So when I told you they were 20% off, 25% off the entire bundle, if you add my code, I Restore Stuff, at the checkout, you'll get an extra 10% off. So Great value if you get the whole set. So if you're a sign maker, crafter, you will love these. So that will include, the bundle will include the 20 word signs, and it's got just beautiful words: love, imagine, cherish, encourage, kindness, just breathe, adventure, dream, life, all everyday sort of really encouraging words. So that's that. We've also got this tic-tac-toe board. I want to use this one today on a 12 by 12. It's got a few pieces to it actually. It's got this plain one, then it's got one with arrows on it, which is cute. And then of course you've got the little X and the 0, the X and the naught right in there as well. Coffee sign, I want to try this one today, so we'll have a look closer at that in a minute. The checkerboard, which is a single large checkerboard pattern. I'm not sure, does anyone know if that's the exact amount of an actual checkerboard? I don't know, maybe it needs another row. You could always add extra rows by just moving it across and adding to the pattern if it wasn't the correct. But maybe if you've played checkers or chess, they use the same board, but I think it's more square. So you could just add to that and easily make a checkerboard. Home Sweet Home single set stencil. Now all of these are available as individual stencils if you wanted to, except for those words that I showed you before. We've got a few mini sets today, 6 by 6. We've got wine bar, and that comes with a set of 4 different sayings and illustrations. Pet memorial. Now Melissa demoed this one yesterday. Some beautiful stencils in that set. You can see each of these individually as you have a look. You can scroll through on the website. The link is right there in the description of the comments. And there's a Wi-Fi guest. Now this is cute. Be Our Guest is one of the signs, and the other one is a place where it says Wi-Fi, and it's got the network to join and the password to join. So you can display that somewhere in your house. Maybe you've got a little shop or something like that that you can share that with. We've got a 6-pack of birthday stencils minis. Now these are fun to decorate a party or a birthday with. We've got 6 different designs there: a party hat, cake, happy birthday sign, a make-a-wish with a little cupcake, let's party, and some balloons. So you can see all those on the website. Our Mediterranean tiles. Now again, we've got these beautiful, you can do these in the blue and white pattern. Let me take a sip of my coffee while I check your comments. Hello everybody, people jumping on to say hello. Hi from South Carolina, Eleanor. Good evening, Kathy from Montana. Tracy's here. Hi Mary. Hi Donna. All right, so there's our Mediterranean tiles. Comes in a set of 4. I believe Renee showed you how to use some of these on Monday night. And so check back on those replays of the lives if you haven't seen those yet. This is fast becoming a favourite, and I believe that if you wanted to buy this as a single set, they are also running a little low in quantity, so grab that while you can. Don't forget, use my code IRestoreStuff. Where is my little code here? And get yourself 10% off any of these. If you're getting the single set, you'll also get that 10% off when you grab the entire bundle. All right, there's 28 pieces in this because we've got the alphabet in here. So you can make a personalized family name sign. So it'll say the something family. So you can put your name in there. The Hankins family. My name is Sharon Hankins. So I could put the Hankins family on that name sign. So that's for a 16-inch round. And here's the 16-inch round. I've got one here to show you, like a huge board that you could fit that on. You could make your own personalized family name sign. And so that's got all the 26 letters of the alphabet, which is also great for so many other purposes. There's so many other great uses for letter sets. So if you don't have this one, I would grab that, use my code IRestoreStuff. Dorothy, thank you for sprinkling it to your world. That's amazing. Kimberly, you're going to use the wine bar set to stencil on a pouch or makeup survival gift for the girls coming on your trip to Napa. That's so cool. Grocery sign we've got here, single set. We've got winery with the grapes. And this is a lot of single sets here, so you can kind of pick and choose, or you get the whole lot if you grab the bundle. Vintage goods, another cute one. We've got a Home Sweet Home pet sign. So we've got the little paw prints. Again, you could do this on a round, or it doesn't have to be a round. You could do it on a square as well, because, you know, we've got the nice lines there, and the paw prints, you can just make them go square at the bottom of a sign. So I hope that's given you some inspiration. Oops, we've still got some more. One more is our beautiful damask pattern. And again, wouldn't this look lovely in the blue and white kind of designs? So yes, the blue and white, I just love it. And I was so excited. They've even done a demo in the blue and white there, you can see. And so I love it. I love this whole bundle, is really worth it. I was so excited when I saw this because, like I said, I love the blue and white. So let's have a look. I just need to prep some boards here. So as we're going, let me know what you're working on tonight. And I'm going to be doing my board here in Fusion's Coal Black. So this is a true black. Now, the bottom of my pot busted open. An accident, and so it busted open. So I've got to tape up the bottom, but we're still going to use what is in the pot. I could just transfer it to a different pot. But we are going to be painting all over the sides, and the idea of this is to make it sort of look a little bit like a chalkboard. And so many fun signs you can make as chalkboard signs. Now, I like to do my sides and edges all first, because then it's easier to drop the sides and paint across the top. And it's sometimes a little bit tricky to do it last. I love the damask too. Tell me what your favourite part of the bundle is. Are you going to be getting the bundle? Someone said they've got theirs. Maggie, it is. They are very strong plastic containers, but if you drop them the wrong way or smash them on the floor, they might bust open. Just saying, as with any other. It just has to get the wrong angle. And they don't want to make them too heavy for shipping purposes either. So, but they are quite strong. It's the only one that I've got that has done that, and I've dropped lots. Tracy says you love the transfers and the dogs items. Yeah, the pet memorial signs are great, and also there was the pet sign, wasn't there? So these are such a great everyday bundle. It's not holiday themed, it's not any particular season theme, but can be used. I'll just drop that because it's easier than getting it all over my hands. They can be used all year round, you know, so such a great set. Now, I'm going to have a look here and see if I might need to use a couple of coats of this. I don't want to have to, well, it's probably, a lot of the times it's easier to do a couple of nice thin coats rather than going too thick and having too many brush strokes. We don't like the brush strokes. Fusion is quite giving. It self-levels quite a bit, so you don't get too many brush strokes on here. But I could also use a mini roller. You know, the best mini rollers are those little ones that are microfiber mini rollers. So this is going to be similar to a chalkboard, and I'm going to do that coffee sign on here. Now, fun fact, some of the coffee names, and we'll probably have a look more at them when I get the stencil ready, but we call our coffees different names here in Australia than you do in the USA. So I don't know, maybe this sign will go to someone who gets the US naming of coffees. They understand. It'd be great for a coffee shop. It'd be great for your kitchen if you have a little coffee station. Does anyone have a coffee station? Cam says, do you think the damask stencil would look good on a small oval table? Redoing one and thinking about ways to refinish it. Absolutely. This damask stencil here is perfect for doing on little tabletops. If you saw my home bundle earlier, I think I released it in February it might have been. I think it was called, I can't remember, it was a home bundle, and I had some different patterns there, and I did use those over the top of tabletops, and I had one little side table, coffee table, that sold right away. I've just got to grab a plastic bag for my brushes. Got some more packages this week which contained these beautiful little plastic bags and bubbles, and so I just bust the bubbles and cut the bubbles, and it's such a perfect size for paintbrushes. So that sets that aside. I will give it a quick dry before I do that. So Christy, yes, you've got a coffee hutch. These are the kind of signs that would be perfect for a coffee hutch. And while that's drying, I'm going to make a stain wash using paint for my other signboard that I'm going to use over here. Hello, Melinda, watching from Louisiana. I have a sister named Melinda, so it's not a hugely common name, so there you go. Okay, let's see. Now, my next board that I want to do something with is this little one. Now, I do have links on my, did I put that in the description? My Amazon affiliate link, which has a whole supply list of all sorts of different things that I use for stenciling, tools and things that I stencil on. And so that supply list is, this is a 12 by 12. So the larger one is a 12 by 16, fits the 12 by 16 stencils. This is a 12 by 12. And I'm going to use a Woodwick, which is a brown colour in the Fusion Mineral Paint line. Now, also, if you do see the link right there in the description, I've got a Fusion link, and you can get 10% off if you use my code I Restore Stuff at the Fusion link as well, if you're looking for a paint. But you can use any acrylic paints for your stenciling and sign making, no problem at all. I just love these because I sell them here in Australia. I stock them here. They are just a lovely paint to use. Now, I've got a bit of water, probably, is it a tablespoon? Maybe a tablespoon and a half of water in this little jar here that's got paint swished up around the sides that's dried. And I'm going to add some paint to the water to make a stain wash. Let me just check comments for a second. So, oh, Melinda, you were named after your great-grandmother. That's so beautiful. Hello, Kathy. And Kimberly says, I have a coffee station. I was thinking that would make a great sign. I also have a wine bar and cooler, so the wine stencil will be great to use for decorations too. Absolutely. So perfect. Great idea. Okay, as I move this aside, do I need to just bring you down a little bit so we can see a little closer? What can we fit in there? Oh, Kimberly, that's great. Great, you ordered that and you got your... There we go. Let's see how much we can see in that view. All right, so I've grabbed a bunch of paint on my brush. I may even use a bit more. I'm going to add a bit more paint to this. Just a dribble more. So I've probably got, usually you would probably use about one part paint to 10 parts water, but you can make it a little less diluted if you want. So this is probably about three quarters paint to 1 part water, just a tablespoon of water. And that's all I'll need to stain this. In fact, that stain would probably do a few boards. So I might just have to pre-stain some and do a few while I'm at it. Hello, Eva. Thanks for saying hello. Look, if you are brand new to stenciling, let us know that too in the comments. You know there's a giveaway at the end of our live. We give away to 3 lucky winners $20 gift cards for Essential Stencil. Okay, just checking this out here at the sides, and I'll show you the colour in a minute, but it gives it a nice warm brown tone. It's almost like a taupe. How do you say that? Colleen, it is a beautiful bundle, great bundle. A little bit more wash on my brush. And the stain wash, just use nice long strokes there. Oops, I haven't done this side. 4 sides, and then we can just easily go across the top. Yes, and if you haven't done so already, feel free to share the live around and let others know that we're live right now, showing some demos of essential stencils, beautiful stencils and transfers. See if I get time to do a transfer today. I'm not sure if I will, but I so love the blue ones. I just wanted to use all of the stencils on one live today, but don't have time to do that. Okay, so we've got our stain wash, and this is the colour Woodwick from Fusion Mineral Paint, and all I've done is added a little bit of water and it creates a beautiful wash. So that, because it's on raw wood, so if you did this over a painted surface, it would sort of, the paint would sort of, it would sort of sit on top of the paint, but because we've got it on raw wood, it's going right into the grain, and if you wanted it darker than this, you could just add another coat. But let's see how that looks. Oh, Susan, you got your Fusion paint yesterday. Can't wait to paint your cubby for the bathroom. That's amazing. That'll be great. Yeah, Barb, the words do always sell out fast, don't they? And Essential Stencil, usually they know that they sell out fast, so they order extra. And so I guess, you know, you guys are just too quick. You really love those words. Hi, Patsy. I'm so glad you're here, learning more about stenciling. We do go through mostly our basic tips for stenciling, but sometimes you'll learn something extra or just even inspirational ideas. I feel like that's a nice tone, but I kind of want to go more. I want to go a bit darker. So let's see if I might even get that stain. It's almost looking a little orangey for me. I'd like it a little darker. I might even just grab my wet brush and literally paint over the whole top, and then I can just wipe it back with a cloth if I wanted to. I just want to still see the grain through there. I'll leave the sides for now. So what you can do, I've got a very wet brush and I'm almost just darkening that stain. It looks a bit like a paint, but once I sort of wipe it back, you'll see it'll look more like a stain. And you can still see the wood grain through there. So see how we just kind of test and feel, make sure you're happy with the colour that is going on. Now I do have a wet cloth here beside me, but I feel like I want a drier one, so let me just grab a little bit, maybe a paper towel. And we're just going to move some of that out, but see how it is a bit darker than what it was. So just moving some of that off. I know it feels like a little bit of a waste because I've just painted it on and I'm wiping it off, but I feel like that's a bit of a darker stain. Oops, stopped a bit there. We've got to have nice long strokes so we don't have stop-start marks halfway down our piece. So see how we're going along the way of the grain. And I might just add, see that paint that I've got on the paper towel, while that's still wet, just rub it over and the paper towel does break up a bit, so it's probably not the best. It's probably best to use a dry cloth. Didn't see one in my immediate vicinity, so we're going with the breaking up paper towel. All right. A lot better. I like that coverage of that. That's the colour Woodwick. And we've still got plenty of that stain in the tub. What I could have done is kept going with the stain layer by layer, but I think we're done with that now. I can put my brush in there. Melinda, you like it a bit darker like this? Yeah, I do love the stain. Okay, so we'll set this one aside. Let's go back to our black board over here. See how that's looking. Oh, I love that I can still see the grain of the wood in this one. Now I've got to decide, do I want to do a second coat? I have to look at it in the light. It has covered really well with just that one coat of Fusion's Coal Black. If I was doing a piece of furniture, I might say that I would give it 2 coats just for extra coverage. But have a look at that. It's covered really, really well just with the 1 coat. And I think that's good enough for our sign today, because what I want to do is, it's almost like a chalkboard. And so I want to use that coffee stencil out of our big bundle. If you missed it earlier, we just went through all of the bundle that's available, and now the bundles are running out. There are only about 30 bundles left, so if you didn't grab a bundle and you want to, now is your chance, because the bundle is the only thing that only way you will get the little words. Where did the words go? These words have sold out as an individual set, the 20 different words. It's sold out as an individual set, but it is still included in the bundle. So don't think if you get the bundle you're going to miss out on those words. You will definitely get the words, but there are only about 30 bundles left. So grab that. Use my code iRestoreStuff, save your 10%. And also just buying the bundle itself, you're saving 25% on all of the stencils combined. And so you're really saving a whole bunch more when you use my code as well. So this is our coffee stencil, and I'm going to use white to create a fun coffee sign with that. So it fits perfectly because it's 16 by 12, so that's what this board is, 16 by 12 board. I'm going to grab some coffee. Speaking of coffee, okay, so I've got a couple of different whites I could choose from. Raw Silk, which is a creamy white, or we've got the Casement white, which is really probably a truer white for using as, pretend chalk for a chalkboard. So let's see. Grab my stencil brush. So you can also use my code and get brushes. So our stencil brushes, we've got a few different types of stencil brushes, and we've got our regular ones that are a set of 4. I believe they're in stock at the moment. Laura just made a pot of coffee. There you go. Marcelo said, plus you get a $20 gift card. I didn't know that. Is that true? Okay. So I'm not sure what you have to do to get that for the bundle, maybe. All right, so we've got our offloading cardboard somewhere here. There's some that I've used earlier, just any kind of cardboard will do. I just cut up packages, and I'm going to just use the brush, grab a bit of paint, offload that as much as I can. And then I'm going to hold this really still. It's got these gorgeous lines and details around the edge. Sometimes I don't see these things till I'm actually doing the stencil. And I want to be careful that I don't get the brushed on the sides of my board. So if you did want to tape it in certain areas, you could probably do that. So I'm just going to start with a little bit of a swirling motion. And remember, this is supposed to look like a chalkboard. And so if it's not full coverage and just looks a little bit soft or, hazy or not quite solid, that's okay, because it's meant to look like chalk, and chalk doesn't always look truly solid unless you're using those chalk pens, of course. But if you wanted a solid look, you could always just go over this with a second coat. Adding a little touch more. Maggie says this would be nice in a coffee house. Yeah, it would. It'd be beautiful. So with the lines, I just tend to go straight up and down with those. A little bit of wriggling. They do have a little bridge right here in halfway, which stops the whole stencil from going out off to the side. Trying to check your comments at the same time. Sometimes they disappear too quickly on me and I can't see the context of what your questions and answers are about. But I do love to go into the comments after I've finished my live and see if I can answer any questions for you. So do ask. We also have a lot of people who have been stenciling for years and years that are joining us on our lives. Okay. Now we're on to our coffee beans. Beautiful coffee sign. Oops, I did miss the line at the top here. And now I'm just swirling with a nice gentle swirling motion. And of course we can do this because we've got hardly any paint on the brush from offloading it on the side here. You want very little, hardly any. It's called a dry brush method. I'm going to swirl over my beans and then go over the word coffee again. Because if we have too much on our brush, I'm not sure if we've got any newbies on here today. You've never stenciled before. Let us know in the comments. Don't be shy. We're here to encourage you and get you started on your stenciling journey. But if you're new here today, that's the key. One of the biggest keys to getting nice crisp lines on your stenciling is having hardly any paint on the brush. So it's called dry brush method. We just dry it off on a piece of cardboard or some paper towel, whatever you've got handy. So I was talking before about the difference in our labelling of coffee. Memory. You have to get this one because you're a huge coffee lover. You didn't see it in the bundle. Yeah, the bundle is, if you go to the link that I've got there in the description of my live, you can see the different stencils in the bundle. You can go through all of them, click through that. You can swipe through the pictures to show what's all included. It's got a big list there of everything that's included, so you can see what they are. Now, I was talking before about the different labelling. So espresso, yes, we have espresso. So this is a little a label chart of what each of the beverages contains. So espresso, you can see it's got a line here. It has one shot of coffee. Whereas this one, doppio, has double and it's not espresso, it's espresso. Double espresso. So it has 2 shots of espresso in there. And so we don't call it a doppio, we just call it a double espresso. So that's the first time I'd heard of that. Anyone else? Oh, you can't see the coffee thing in the bundle. Oh, we'll have to go and have a look at that. So apparently an Americano, and of course we're in Australia, we don't have Americanos. Let's see, what's that consist of? Hot water and espresso. We would call that a long black. I'm pretty sure that's what we call a long black coffee without any cream, without any milk. We call it milk, you call it creamer or cream, but we just say milk. Latte, it's got your milk foam on top, steamed milk, and then espresso. See, we're educating you all about coffee as we stencil. We do have lattes, and that's probably how we would make our lattes. They would have the steamed milk and then milk froth on top. Actually, that sounds more like a cappuccino. Cappuccino, you've got milk froth, steamed milk, espresso. Hang on, that looks the same to me. A latte a latte in Australia anyway usually has more milk than a cappuccino, so it's a little bit more heavy on the latte, which is a word for milk. And then we've got our mocha, which has to have chocolate in it. We do have mochas as well, so we've got whipped cream on top, and you can opt out for the whipped cream. You don't have to have your whipped cream. We've got the espresso poured in first, then you've got the chocolate syrup. Ooh, we would probably, don't know that we would put chocolate syrup in Australia. We usually have actual cacao, chocolate powder probably, I guess. I don't know. Then some steamed milk and then your whipped cream on top. So as we do each one, we're kind of, I'm educating myself. Sandy, this will look good on that coffee coloured background. Yes, on the other board that I did, it would look good on that too. So your doppio, which I had not heard of this name before, we just call this a double espresso or a double shot of coffee. Some people have a double shot in their lattes or in their cappuccinos. So you just ask that generally at the cafe here in Australia. So first time I've heard of a doppio, double espresso. Laura says I need this stencil. Yes, well, go use my code I restore stuff and grab it before they run out. Now we've got, what's this? A flat white. Yes, so we have flat whites too. So there are some things that are the same. Flat white's got your espresso and then steamed milk. That's usually my coffee, is a flat white, just espresso with a steamed milk. You can hold your froth. I don't care too much for the fluff and the froth, so not a huge fan on the cappuccino, but I do like the steamed milk. But I do use almond milk instead. Anyone else here use different milks like almond milk or oat milk or something else? Marcella, you drink coffee all day and all night. Oh my gosh, you have a cup beside your bedside. Girl, caramel macchiato. Now this is fancy, isn't it? We do have caramel macchiatos here too. So I'm thinking the only one that's different. What's this? Coffee. I can't read that upside down. Coffee brew. Coffee brew. Okay. So caramel macchiato, obviously it's got to have caramel sauce in it. Yes, so we've got our espresso on the bottom layer, then we move up and we've got our caramel sauce, and then we've got vanilla syrup, okay, and milk. Now, to be honest, I don't know what they make, how they make caramel macchiatos here. I'm guessing it must be the same. Missed my flat white sign down here. And then we've got our coffee brew. So espresso with half and half, steamed half and half. And then milk foam. Okay, so this is very American. We don't have this in Australia because we don't use half and half. Half and half. We don't use half and half in Australia. That would be a half cream, half milk. And so we don't have something like that. We would just use cream or use milk or add a bit of both. So maybe we'd make this with a little bit of cream in it. So there we go, we've had our coffee education, and the differences between coffees, if you're ordering in Australia, are a little different. And let's have a look. I'll put this in a plastic bag for a second. And we'll see what that result looks like. You can hear that popping off there. Melinda, your favourite creamer is hazelnut. Okay, so here I am thinking that... yes, I do know that there are, so when I say almond milk, I'm actually saying a replacement, a dairy replacement milk, so which is very different than almond latte, which would be almond flavouring syrup, which has a lot of sugar in it. So I've skipped out the sugar. I'm doing a no sugar diet, done that for years, but I do cheat every now and then. I do like my desserts, so isn't that cute? It looks like a chalkboard sign, looks like it's something that you could just hang in a coffee shop. So that is so much fun. I love it. And now we can move on to our next one, which is a bit of fun. We've got Tic Tac Toe coming right up. So if you love that, go find the coffee stencil. Use my code I restore stuff. You can use the link that I've popped in the description there to get to the site. So we've got now here, let me pop this on this seat over here, so I'll clean that in a minute. Tic-tac-toe, which we call noughts and crosses over here in Australia. Just so you know, we don't say tic-tac-toe. We do know what you're talking about though when you say it, because we watch a lot of American TV, so we understand all the lingo. But we would say noughts and crosses. And noughts was, and I guess that's, no one says naught these days, it's a zero. So yeah. It's just, I guess it's an old-fashioned word for zero. So I'm going to use this one, but you could, in fact, use this one here with the arrows on it. Makes it look fun and fancy. Or you could use that for something else. Let me know. You could use that for a giant hashtag. A giant hashtag. If you needed that for something like that. Oh, Carolyn, that's lovely. Thank you. Iris has got big hearts, 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 and coffee, coffee, coffee. Yolanda used sugar-free chai. Is it chi or chai is your favourite? Yeah, chai latte is a big thing over here, and that probably would be on, if it was an Australian board, it would probably have that on it. So we've got our little noughts and crosses. What do you call them, noughts and crosses? Or do you call these 0 and X, or O and X, X and O in America? What do generally people say? So I've stained my board. If you missed that earlier, I'll show you exactly, if you watch the replay, how I stained that. And let's see, I'm going to use, I was going to use black, but I think this will be fun with white. Also, no, I've got to use black. I'll use black. We've got this coal black going on here, and I'll use a, what is this, 7/8 inch brush. And I will, Melinda, you love the arrows? Yeah, it's very cute. They'd be great. You can even see how that arrow just follows right through. You could even tape off these and just use that as an actual arrow. There are a couple that you could do that for. You could even do that with this and then join your arrow together. There's so many different ways that you can just create and use the stencil as a single arrow. Maybe you want it to underline or just be the bottom, a feature on the top of a sign. You could use that with your words. See the word adventure? You could put the word adventure and then an arrow on a sign. That would be so cute. You could use these arrows for our little, a little sign, directional signs. So very much usable. So if you're looking for something for that kind of thing, these arrows would be perfect and super easy to do. In fact, I might show you that on another live another time. So we've got our noughts and crosses, so you would call it tic-tac-toe. Eleanor, you've never heard of chai? I guess chai tea is a thing, and it's got, I think it's got cinnamon, star anise, those kind of, I feel like the Asian flavours maybe for tea, sweet. Although it doesn't have to be a sweet tea. All right, I've got my black, and I'm stenciling now with sort of swirly motions, making sure I get that on all of the areas of the stencil. And it's running out now, but I'd rather have a little bit less on my brush. You don't want too much at all. Remember, we put hardly anything on the brush. So as the brush starts to run out of paint, I just press a little heavier and it gets it moving because that paint has gone all through the bristles. So now I'll add just a touch more. And again, just offloading as much as I can on the brush. Gloria, you love chai tea with milk too, yes. Yes, that's correct. I think it's C-H-A-I. Laura, thank you. Another bit here. Now I've got something fun that I'm going to do with the noughts and crosses because, as you can see, this is one board, but if you want to make a game of it, this is going to be a game board for somebody. And I wish I had some of this size or little coaster size wood boards. I'll have to get them cut especially. But I've got something I've mocked up, so it'll be a mock-up of the real thing. But if you were to do this for real, you'd need some little pieces of wood that are cut in the right size. So the size that I'm looking for is going to be a bit smaller than this. So see how the stencil size comes out to the side. You want it to fit within that there. So you really just want a board that fits the X and the O on them. Oh, Marcella, that sounds nice. Sometimes you put ground ginger and cinnamon in your coffee. Lovely. Okay, we're coming to this end up here. And I can still see the black is showing a little bit of grain of the wood still showing through, which is okay. All right, last little bit. A little, go over that just a slightly more. I can see through that to the wood grain, which I don't mind too much. It'll still stand out on our board nicely. Okay. So we've now got our beautifully stained tic-tac-toe board. It's worked out lovely. Now to create some fun little noughts and crosses to go with it. So what I've done is I've just used some cardstock for now. And although you could make these on small little wood coasters, although I don't think I've seen coasters this small. If you made them too big, they wouldn't fit inside your little circles. But to create this, you can use cardstock. And I've just cut some that are 3 by 3 inches. I just used 3 by 3, just using my paper cutter, or you can just draw out the lines on a on a piece of cardstock. Donna, you finally made a sign today. You've been lazy. What did you make? Let us know in the comments what you've made. So now I just have to go through. Now, there's 9. So how many? Oh, I should have made extra. So I probably should have made 10, as in 5 X's, 5 noughts. So let me just put them in a little pile here so we've got everybody's got the right amount. But I think we will have an odd number, because I guess if one person wins, if X wins, they'd need an extra card. So I do recommend, I think we would need 10. Is that correct? Does everyone agree? We would need 10 of these. I'm getting some more of my coal black. We are still talking coffee in the comments. You guys, you Americans love your coffee. Believe me, Australians have become just as much coffee lovers as the other parts of the world. It's crazy. Okay, there's one. So we've got a little piece of cardboard. Now we've got one little X. Let's do another. Hello to our newbie person. Welcome. Here's where you'll learn about stenciling. So we've got nice crisp lines on our stencils because we've got hardly any paint on the brush. So there's another X. We'll do some O's. So we just keep going on this until we've got all our... But what do you think? Yes, so Donna says, I agree that we will probably need 10. Am I right? Probably need 10 of these. So there's 9 squares altogether, but we would need probably 5 of each of the noughts and crosses. Okay, blocked. Can you see it? Yeah, you can still see my sign. I should take turns with myself here as we play the game. Let me know where should I put the next? We need team noughts, teams crosses. Where are you all? Let's play the game. Oh yeah, so Sandy's saying you can get coasters at Dollar Tree that would work for the X and the O. Kimberly looked it up. Yes, you would need 10. Okay, so if you're doing this as a craft for your household or for anyone you know, or for your craft fair, you'd need 10 of these noughts and crosses to make it into a game. I was saying we needed a team noughts and a team crosses. And where should I put the next O? If you're team 0, your team O, where are we going to put the next O? Okay, Menenda says in the middle right. Let's have a look. Middle right, she says. Okay, first one in, first one I see gets to take the position. All right, next I need to do another cross now that we're even with noughts and crosses on the board. Where's this one going to go? It's your game show host here, Sharon Hankins from I Restore Stuff, right here on the Essential Stencil page, playing a game of noughts and crosses with the viewers. Mary says you always start with the centre one. Okay, team crosses, let me know, where do I put this next one? If you were team crosses, where would you put it? First one I see, I'm going to just probably have to use that spot. Is there a winning? I haven't even looked if there's a winning spot yet. Bottom right. See, memory's in again. Bottom right. Here we go. Oh, I see a winning spot now. Noughts is going to have to defend. Noughts. Okay, who's team zeros? Where are we putting this one? Come on. Defend yourselves here. Kimberly, how fun. Bottom centre. Cindy says bottom centre for the zeros. Oh, she must be on team crosses. Because crosses is going to win in the next move if I don't defend that little spot up the top there. But hey, I'll do what you guys want. Marcella says middle. Oh, you mean the middle left? Bottom middle, Brenda says, for the zero. Okay, you guys must be all team crosses. Bottom middle, middle, bottom centre. Okay, everyone's saying bottom centre. Here we go. Bottom centre for the zero. You guys are all team crosses. Hey, team crosses, let's go. Where are we going to put our cross? The game is on. Someone could be winning. Upper left. You think? That's a good spot. I'm thinking that's great. I think we're all team crosses here. And here's our cross. Team, and we have a winner. Yes, we have a winner. So guys, you get the idea. I will make my final ones. I can just go ahead and make them right now. Although I was wanting to just do a quick transfer. Let's do a quick transfer because I just love those so much. They're so pretty. Put this in my little wet cloth sitting here. You can use a cloth or a plastic bag, and I'll add to my noughts and crosses in a minute. But I do want to grab maybe just one of these little boards. I might stain that wood on the outside afterwards, but I wanted to use one of the flowers on our sheets. What's the word they use? Chinoiserie? Chinoiserie vase and flowers. Did I say that right? I don't know how to pronounce that. Here's the word we're trying to pronounce. I've only learned about that word in the last year or so. Yes, everyone's team crosses is saying, yay. Put the crosses in a comment if you were team crosses. Put zeros in the comment if you were team zeros. Glad you were winners. All right, so I would love to use a little flower example that's going to fit right inside my sign here. Maybe that one on the bottom left will fit perfectly. Oh, I thought I didn't have scissors. But these are just adorable. So like I said, you could put the flowers in a vase. You can use a vase by itself. I was going to put a vase in one of these, but I don't think it fits. I think it's that one's a little large. This one might just fit. Yeah, I'm not sure about the others, but no, the others are larger. The others are even more large. So, see the vase here? You could use this as a transfer and just pop this. I would put the flower just behind the top of the vase there as you're laying it down and doing your transfer so that it looks like the stem goes in. Don't sit it out on top of it. Just sort of lay it in behind and then lay the vase on top of the flower. So if you're creating a nice blue flower vase, that's how I would do it. Chinoiserie. Okay. Chinoiserie is the pronunciation. Thank you to, who was that just said it? Kimberly Clark. Thank you for your direction. Now I've got my new little, did you see the new Essential Stencil Transfer rub-on tools? So those, you can grab those at the link too in the pinned comment or in my description of the live. Easy enough to do, just peel the backing off. We're just going to place this right in the center of the board. and rub away. And as we rub, I'm going to have to practice that word, chinoiserie. Chinoiserie? I'll have to look it up again. The blue is amazing. Yes, it would be beautiful in other colours, Cam. Yeah, I agree. What colours would you choose? Have a think. Pink, maybe? A pastel pink would look great. Greens. Oh, I could see that in greens, totally. Like a lot of the dinnerware and china, dishware. I can imagine that in some of those colours. Orange, maybe? Chinoiserie. Alison's got another pronunciation. Chinoiserie. We'll have to look it up on, you know, if you look up on Google a word and the meaning of the word, you can actually look up the pronunciation of the word and they'll actually say it there for you. Well, that would depend if they had an American accent or Australian accent, really, right? But since I think it's a French word, surely they've got someone French telling us exactly how to pronounce it the correct way. Okay, so we're just rubbing that on and lifting the plastic off the top as we go, making sure there's no little pieces stuck to it. And there we go. Gorgeous, beautiful blue flower. Right there. So I will then probably go over that outside with a little bit of that woodwick stain, and we've got ourselves a gorgeous little thing. This is probably, oh, someone's going to ask what the size of this was. Look, it's, I don't know, probably 6. Might be 6 by 6 on the outside of this board. All right, so guys, we are ready to pick some winners for today's live. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll grab our other board that we created today so I can show you. And we will have a look and see who our winners are today. I'll have to leave maybe this one can stand up here. And we've got our Tic Tac toe board, which would be so much fun for the kids, or even just to put on a coffee table. Imagine having little coasters that these had on it. They could double up as a coaster if you sealed them properly. So I've just used cardboard today, which you could use, but then, you know, to make it a nice, fun thing. Oh, Donna, a blue frame would really pop. You've got me thinking. Now I might use a blue frame to do that. So there you go. That's our coffee sign. We've got our tic-tac-toe board. We've got a cute little chinoiserie. Oh, how do we say that word? Lois, thank you so much for sprinkling. And I love the coffee board too. That's one of my favourites on here. It would be cute to put the coffee cups on the knots and crosses board. Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be cute? See, they would fit exactly. The little coffee cups would fit exactly on the board. You could be team espresso or team mocha and create a whole game with that. That looks fun. All right, so yeah, Mary had a thought of the blue frame as well for our little sign there. That's a great idea. Yes, I could laminate the squares and then that would make a cute set. So yeah. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'm just waiting for thank you, Menanda, for sprinkling, and thank you so much for joining in our conversation here, everybody. And thanks for joining the conversation, because from there we choose a winner. So let me know if you do see winners pop up on our live here. It's now 11 a.m. here in Australia, but it should be 8 p.m. over there, CST. There we go. I can see them. Congratulations, winners. We've got Kathy. Oh, now I've got to scroll down and it's not letting me. There it is. Kathy, Brenda and Iris. Email support@essentialstencil.com. Let them know that you were a winner on Sharon Hankins Live tonight, Wednesday night. and they will send you a $20 gift card. So you can follow me at I Restore Stuff on all of the social platforms, and I would love for you to check out my blog, irestorestuff.com, where you can find a whole bunch of info and tips on painting your furniture or upcycling home decor. So thanks so much for joining me tonight. See you next week. Bye. Oh, I got to go around the back of the camera and turn it off. Thank you guys for watching. See you next week.